Alright, 7th graders, Investigation 7, learning about balanced equations. And they're called balanced because when we put an equal symbol in the middle, if I have 12 on one side, the other side also has to equal 12. And that's what 5 plus 7 does. So if we made a balance here, we would say that this equation is balanced. Both sides are equal to 12. So that's a balanced equation. If we were to do another type of equation, x plus 3 equals 7, and we were to say we need this to be a balanced equation, we'd say what number has to go in there for x to make it a balanced equation. And we could probably easily figure out that the x needs to equal 4 for this to be a balanced equation. So we will be doing some mathematical operations today to be able to determine a little bit more difficult problems. What is that x? We need to solve for that. Okay, here we have the equation x plus 12 equals 33. So we need to again determine what x is. And to help us determine x, we have to isolate x. Isolate means to make something all by itself. So I'm going to rewrite the problem down here. Equals 33. And to isolate it, I need to get the x all by itself on one side of the equation. Here, it's with the 12. I can't have this 12 here. I need to get rid of this 12. So how do I get rid of the 12? Well, it's a positive 12, so if I subtract 12 from that side, positive 12 and a negative 12 equals 0. But there's a rule when we balance equations. Whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So I've canceled this out now, and that's going to leave me with just x equals, and over here, now I have to do the math, 33 minus 12, and that's going to equal 21. So now I found the answer. X is isolated here, it's all by itself, and what I did to this side, I subtracted 12 over here, I also did to this side, so x equals 21. So if we were to go then back up here and we were to say 21 plus 12 equals 33, my equation is balanced. Alright, the next type of problem that we're going to work with is a multiplication problem. So again, we can still have a scale, and it can still be balanced once we determine what x is. So I've got 2x equals 132, and another way of thinking that is x plus x equals 132. Now to solve this problem, we do the same thing we did with our addition and subtraction. We want to isolate x. We want to get x all by itself over here. I've got this 2, and this is doing 2 times x. So how do I isolate the x? I need to do the opposite of multiplication. I'm multiplying here, which is division. So if I divide this side by 2, I also have to divide this side by 2, because the rule is whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So these will cancel out now, and I'll be left with x equals 132 over 2. And if I divide 132 divided by 2, x will equal 66. So now I can go back in here and say 2 times 66 equals 132. This equation is now balanced. It's now balanced because I did the opposite of multiplication over here. I divided by 2, and then I had to do the same over here to be fair and equal. Divided by 2 there. So x equals 66. Another way that you can do this instead of dividing is also by multiplying by the reciprocal. So in this instance, I have 3x equals 132. I want to isolate the x, and instead of dividing by 3, I can multiply by 1/3. And 1/3 times 3 over 1, that will equal 1x equals, now I have to do the same thing to over here, will equal to 132 over 1 times 1/3. When we have a 1x like this, I really don't even need that 1 there. So I can say x equals, here I can do 132 times 1, 132 over the bottom. The denominator will be 1 times 3, so it'll be 3. So x will equal 132 divided by 3, and that equals 44. So instead of dividing by 3, I multiply by 1/3. Probably not the most common way. Most of you will want to do 3x equals 132, and you'll want to divide by 3. And that's the way that most people will do it. It's the easiest, but every once in a while you're going to come across a problem where it's going to be easier to multiply by the coefficient or the reciprocal. It'll be pretty rare, but every once in a while it will be helpful to know that fact and know that we can do that type of math. All right, knowing these facts, you should be able to balance the equations in your investigation.